How to avoid detection in a game of Spotlight. Spotlight is an exhilarating and adventurous game to play at night with friends, school colleagues, or family, and can be played in a variety of outdoor locations including parks, reserves, beaches, or even in suburban areas with plenty of corners and cover. This guide will help you to successfully hide and move undetected by the seeker as a player in Spotlight. Part 1: Knowing the rules of Spotlight. 1. Understand the rules before you dive in. Here are some common rules to playing Spotlight if you don't already know how to play or would like a fair, classic set to use. Spotlight is played with a group of people in large, dark environments. One or more in a large group, player is designated as the seeker. The seeker is given a torch, flash, light and loudly counts a number of seconds. 30 is a good number. During that count, the rest of the players must run and hide. When the seeker is finished counting, they search for the rest of the players using the light of their torch. They can tag a player out of the game by shining the light on them and declaring the player's name. If the group is too large and the players unfamiliar with each other, it is common for declaring a player spotted as sufficient, rather than calling their name. The game is over when the seeker has tagged out all hiding players. Spotlight can be played so that tagged-out players can also become seekers, albeit without torches. This rule should be used if more than 10 people are playing, because otherwise each round may go for a very long time while the lone seeker searches for the last hiding players. When the game or round is over, the first person to be tagged becomes the seeker for a new round. Part 2: Choosing a good hiding place. 1. Use some strategy in your approach. Hiding places can be effective or ineffective dependent on lots of different factors. It isn't always about whether or not it's hard for you to be seen. 2. Hide somewhere that is hard to get to. If there is tall grass, rocky terrain, a stream, spiderwebs, mud or any other obstacle between the seeker's position and your hiding spot, they might not even bother to examine your location and move on, especially if they think you are lazy and couldn't be bothered either. Take care that you don't go outside the boundaries. 3. Hide somewhere with firm ground that you can move quietly on. This is especially important if you intend to change spots or circle around a large object, such as a stout tree trunk. Grass, sand and dirt are ideal. Asphalt, concrete, tarmac, stone and metallic surfaces are great. Just make sure you haven't got gravel or wet sand stuck to your shoes, as it will crunch. Watch out for thick snow and gravel, which will squeak and crunch respectively. Walking in a stream will cause splashing and will probably cause you to trip and fall. 4. Hide somewhere unexpected. Right next to water, in your or your friend's car, even inside a bin. The more surprising and ridiculous your hiding place is, the less your seeker may consider searching it. 5. Hide somewhere where there isn't room for someone else to hide with you. 2 people make twice as much noise and movement, and they may get you both out. 6. Hide somewhere where it is hard to be seen. Pick a spot in which you can stand behind a branch or a wide tree trunk. If the ground undulates or has hills, use them to your advantage. Also, use levels. People usually forget to look upwards, so trees and climbable structures make excellent hiding spots. Also, it is possible to hide below the seeker under benches, cars, branches, and in depressions in the ground. Just take care that you can see so that people don't tread on you. 7. Scout your spots out ahead of time. If you are really committed, you can arrive in the daytime before playing to stake out the area. Search for spots that would be difficult to find without light. If you plan on climbing trees, it is best that you practice first in daylight so that you can find handholds and roots up. Also, it is best that if you fall at all it is during the day. At night, if you fall and are rendered unable to move or even call out by your injury, it may be difficult for your friends to find you. Additionally, it is frighteningly difficult to safely land from a fall when you can't see what you are landing on. Part 3: Changing your hiding place and moving about mid-game. 1. Consider whether you really need to move. It can be amazing what people will fail to see if they are not expecting to see it there, and often remaining stationary can keep you hidden even under a full beam from 10 or 15 meters away. But don't take too long to decide. Count to 5 and go with what your instinct tells you. 2. Try to decide on your destination before you begin moving. You should minimize the time spent out in the open, especially if you don't know where the seeker is. 3. If the seeker is far from your position and it is safe, run as quickly as you can. The noise usually carries far less than you might expect, especially if it is a windy night, so you might as well cross the distance as quickly as you like. 4. If the seeker is close enough to hear loud noises, move quietly. It helps if you have warmed up and stretched. Some people's knees can crack or creak if they haven't bent them in a while, so you can crouch until they crack before the game to prevent the sound from being made while sneaking. Crouch a little and lower your posture. Take care where you place your feet. With each step, touch the ground with your heel first, and roll your foot forward. This will make your steps quieter. Don't be afraid to crawl on your hands and feet if the ground is soft, because if you fear you will be seen you can flatten yourself against the ground to reduce your visibility from a distance. You can toss a stone or stick into a branch or hard object distant from you to create a small diversion before moving, but you have to be careful that the seeker doesn't notice that it was thrown. 5. Try to trick the seeker. A clever trick that works best when there are many players tagged out and multiple seekers is to confidently stride out of cover and walk past a seeker. If you are a good liar, you might even ask them, "Have you found James yet?" Or say this round is going on forever. You can also walk out of cover and blend with a group of people already tagged out to avoid detection. This is occasionally successful, and even if you are called out, you will usually be praised for your stunningly bold and creative play. Part 4: Working as a team. 1. Play fair and friendly. Being friendly to other players can be very important to winning in Spotlight. If you are unfriendly, protest when it is your turn to be the seeker or snitch on other players by telling the seeker where they are hiding. You will be disadvantaged in that. Other players may tell the seeker where you are hiding out of spite. Other players won't team up with you to perform misdirecting or cooperative techniques. You will be distracted by your feelings about other players and will make mistakes. You will not have fun playing Spotlight. 2. Cooperate with others. Cooperative tricks can be performed if groups hide in the same place. If one of you is tagged, you can jump out, feign irritation and move along, prompting the seeker to leave without catching your friend. In this way, having multiple people in the same spot can prolong the time they are hidden. This can be very effective if you can hide lots of people in a place like a tree, because the seeker will not expect 4 or 5 people to be hiding in the same location. If you are a rough and tumble, adventurous group of roguish scamps and not above a little foul play, you can all jump out from behind the tree, rock, trench or bush you are hiding behind and simultaneously throw sand into the seeker's eyes. This will make it hard for them to identify more than 1 or 2 of you as you all run away and find new cover. 3. Partner up. You and a mate can help each other by hiding at opposite ends of the space and making a loud and distinctively human noise whenever the other is close to being discovered by the seeker. The seeker will usually immediately turn and investigate the noise. Alternatively, you can create misdirection by creating a noise distant from your location by throwing pebbles, or if you live in Australia, gum, honky nuts at metal or plastic signs or playground equipment. Be careful that if you do this, you won't hit someone close to the target of your throw. You and a friend could swap jumpers or jackets, or wear the same clothes, to confuse the seeker and cause them to call out the wrong names. Tips. If you are proud of a spectacular trick or being the last found, it is okay to mention it, but don't shout it arrogantly or put down the seeker. People will be most impressed if you are good at winning the game and also a smooth and sensitive talker. Dress warmly so that you don't get cold, and if it is rainy or wet, you may want to bring a spare pair of socks, especially if you will be sleeping over at someone's house afterwards. You can use your hands to lean on objects and maintain your balance so that you don't fall while sneaking. E.g., circling around a tree trunk. Beware of lampposts casting your shadow out of your hiding spot. Sometimes you can hug the surface of the tree or similar object you are hiding behind to merge your shadow with that of your cover. Try not to look directly into the beam of the torch flashlight, as it will ruin your night vision and you will need to wait to regain it. You may be tempted to perform a forwards roll to cross distances quietly. Consult a skilled gymnast or parkour student before attempting this. A forwards roll will likely actually be very noisy and dirty your clothes. Wear clothes that camouflage with your environment. Try to avoid straight black, as it may help people spot the outline of your figure. Dark blue, gray, and green are ideal. Try not to wear shining jewelry or distinctive accessories. Gray or green for forests, bush, land, suburban car, parks. White for snow, although you may not want to get soaked lying in it. Light brown for sandy dunes by the beach. White will show up very visibly. If you have very pale skin, it helps to cover up as much of it as you can, as it will show against the darkness. If you have very dark skin, it may shine under the light of the torch. Warnings. Try not to be too loud and wake people up if you are playing in a place where lots of people live. In many Western households, children can go to bed as early as 5:00 or 6 p.m. Make sure you know and can recognize any dangerous animals that inhabit your region, particularly snakes and spiders. If you have been hiding for an unreasonably long time, it may be that the others have forgotten about or given up on you and ended the game. If you fear this may be the case, abandon your hiding spot and go looking for them.